The moment that I go back to is the moment that I saw Sebastian for the first time.
It's really the little things that we do that seem to make a big difference.
I didn't knew about joy before that.
I truly believe, Diego, that breaking generational trauma is the greatest legacy we can leave. One of my favorite dads, Diego. Diego, will you introduce yourself, please?
Of course. Hi, my name is Diego Kuri. I am a great dad, and I have some wisdom to share.
Yes, you are, and I know you will. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I think you're definitely somebody who takes being a dad really seriously. And that's the whole reason behind why I wanted to start this, is that it's just definitely something that I've taken very seriously. It's I found it to be an incredible honor, and also incredible growth opportunities. And I see you walking a very similar path, albeit like way ahead of me, Diego, for sure. So why don't you start by just so who are your kids?
Yes. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Tony. I am honored to be one of your guests, and I'm also honored to be a father. It's something that I always wanted. And right now, I have two beautiful kids, two beautiful boys, Sebastian, who is 6, and Nicolas, who turns 4 next week. Both. One of them was born in Mexico and the other one was born in Miami. So it's fun to see how different it is living in both worlds, both countries.
And so you're Mexican, their mother's Colombian, right?
That's right.
Catalina's Colombian. And they're growing up in the United States, in Miami. And do they have accents? Do they speak an American accent? Or,
No, they have a very weird accent, to be honest, because as you know, you grew in Miami. You know how this is a very Latin infused community, so you will hear some words from different parts of Latin America, and even from Spain, because that's the type of friends they have. No, the best friends are from Argentina or from Venezuela or from
right.
Madrid or from and from the U.S. Born and raised in New York or starting to be raised in Miami. So yes, they have these very eccentric accents. Their English is amazing. It's gets better each day, and they start forgetting words in Spanish, which
and they're fully bilingual.
It's funny. They're fully bilingual, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So 6 and 4, great ages. I thought the ages from 3 to 7 were such fun ages, because I found their personalities, they just became who they were, get out of diapers, and they can take responsibility for things, and they want to learn and grow. So what's this phase like with Nicholas and Sebastian?
I think it is a fun stage. I felt that I received my freedom back in some sort of way, because when Nicholas, I think once 3.5, you can stop being in alert mode all day, he can be by himself, nothing's gonna break, or he started swimming by himself, so that gives you a little bit more of time back to you. Also, it's fun to see how they get along very well most of the time. Some of the time they have these massive gladiator battles where you don't know what's going to happen, but most of them they get along very well. They have similar interests. They start to understand. You can start speaking to them as grown-ups for certain subjects, and they can grasp those subjects better than they did before. And yes, you start seeing a little bit about their personality, um, and I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I am also feel a little bit afraid of what I'm seeing because I have a strong personality, and I see that both of them have a very strong personalities, and I start feeling a little bit more of compassion and empathy for my own parents,
Your parents,
and
right?
and so okay, that's what they had to deal with.
Right.
Must be tougher than I thought.
Even though it's only a couple years apart, the development between 4 and 6 is a lot. And so I mean, they're really different in terms of development. But have you? Are they? How different are they just in terms of their personality? Like the beings that were born into this world. Like how different are they? And one of the interesting theories that I have, I don't know if it's true, has any basis or not, but it seems like the firstborn winds up being a lot more like the dad, and the secondborn being is more like the mom. I don't know if any of that's true with you guys.
So in my situation, physically yes, but in the personality side, I feel that Sebastian is very similar to Catalina, and Nicolas is more similar to me, which sometimes it creates a little bit of friction because I see how similar we are, and it mirrors you as nothing, no? Like as nothing else.
So you and Catalina aren't married, right? You guys are divorced.
No, no. We got divorced 2.5 years ago. We
Right.
are doing co-parenting. They spend 2 weeks a month, 50% of the time with me, and 50%
Right.
of the time with her. And yeah, we share.
So you said Sebastian's more like Catalina.
Catalina, yeah, I feel
Nico is
so.
more like you. Do you, do you see the conflict between them mirroring the conflict that you and she had? Do you like? Is it similar in any sort of way?
Absolutely. So you can see some conflict mirroring between Catalina and Sebastian,
Oh,
between
yeah.
Sebastian and Nico, and then with Nico and myself. Um, and there's very like small conflict between me and Sebastian, and between Nico and Catalina, which is also kind of interesting in a
Yeah.
psychology point of view.
When your boys were born, what did becoming a dad mean to you?
In everything, when I learned about Sebastian, about Catalina being pregnant with Sebastian, August 2nd of 2018, my life changed. That day, like
The second you found out.
yeah, the second that I found out, I was, let's put it in a very friendly way. I was very mature, still having, fun at night, still partying, still, yeah, I would say very unconscious. And that news changed my life on a good way because it was a life changing event that from one day to another, my whole personality, I don't know if my personality, but my essence changed. Like, okay, now I'm going to be a dad. Now I need to be the best version of myself from that second.
Like what happened, Diego? Like when you said so, you found out you were becoming a dad, and then you decided I need to be the best version of myself. What changed? Like, I mean, I get that you're about to be a dad, but like, what do you think is the thing that drove you to want to be a better version of yourself?
That I was going to be responsible for another human being, and that I always seen fatherhood as preaching by example, or that the best way that you can show your kids how to live is by being a good example of you know certain values or certain ways of behaving and of handling certain situations. So I believe that was like the when I learned is I thought that I had to be the best version of myself because now more than ever I was going to be an example for everything, a role model for how to live a life in some sort of way, no?
So yeah, what did you tackle first? What when you did an analysis of yourself and said, "Oh man, shit, I'm going to be an example now." What were some things you went, "I don't want to be like that anymore," or "I need to be more like this"? Like what came up for you? You think?
I had some trouble handling alcohol, my relationship with alcohol. So that was like the first thing that I let's say fixed or worked on. And yeah, I said like, okay, from now on, I am controlling this part of my life, and this part of my life will not be controlling
Yeah.
my existence.
Was that easy to do?
To be honest, it was very easy
Yeah.
because I mean, it was like my priorities changed from one day to another, and I wouldn't think of bigger or more important priority than being a father than having a kid. Yeah. So yeah, it was like nothing mattered more than this, and it still does. Nothing matter more. Nothing
Huh.
matters more than
What
this.
what was it about your relationship with alcohol that you thought would not be appropriate for you as a dad? Like what was it about it that changed?
Yeah, alcoholism runs through my family, mostly on my dad's side, and even though I was never violent or anything like that, I still couldn't control it. And the blackouts and yeah, and the hangovers, like, and it now that I am sober for 2.5 years, I noticed that I use alcohol to as a mask for certain things on my life, and to just cover it with a drink or with a night out, and yeah.
Yeah. When you became a dad, what did that mean to you? So I know Catalina got pregnant and then you started thinking differently and then your child's born. What did that mean to you?
The moment that I go back to is the moment that I saw Sebastian for the first time. For me, I didn't knew about joy before that. Like I don't have uh, yeah, I don't have a higher example of joy.
Hmm.
And I think joy is one of the best feelings in the world, no? So I remember I just like saw him, and he was such a beautiful baby. I don't know if I shared pictures with you. I think I shared pictures with half of the world. But it was like, oh man, I remember he was born at like 11:50 p.m. I was there because he was a C-section. So and they gave Sebastian to me, and it was just like wow, like such a beautiful moment that I will cherish for the rest of my life. Without
What shaped your ideas about fatherhood?
my ideas are still being shaped. Each new milestone, they are being shaped, and they are being transformed, and yeah, the relationship with my kids, they are teaching me a lot of these. They're creating new ideas, and nothing is defined yet. I try to adapt, and I try to work on myself. That's something that I think I spend a lot of time and energy on. And it's working on myself and getting to know myself better, getting to know my shadows better, and when they appear on situations with the kids, I tell them like, hey, I learned this, and I don't want like, even though I'm doing this, I don't want for you to learn them. And they start asking questions like, where did you learn that? Where do you think that happened?
You know, I have the
Yeah,
same question. Where did, yeah, like what are some things and where did you learn them?
I think they go generation by generation, and they are taught by our own parents, from their own shadows, from our own grandparents, and until you make them conscious, I think there's gonna be inevitable to be sharing trespassing to your own kids. So those exercises have helped me be aware of where do I got them from, and why I don't want to share them.
Or what are one or two that you showed up that you realized, yeah, this is generational trauma. This is passed on to me from my dad. It was passed on to him from his dad, etc. Like what was identified? Like what were they, or what was one or example, and how did you identify it, and then how did you shift it?
This happened recently, and I noticed that even though I am very peaceful most of the time, I can have this burst of explosiveness on certain controlling issues, and this has happened perhaps the last 4 or 5 months, and I'm having these active conversations with the kids where they're happening less, and they're happening. It's nothing violent in physically, but in words. Perhaps I will shout. I'm someone that's like, hey, imagine the TV feed's gonna fall down, and on the kid, you're worried, you're afraid, like he's gonna get into access. You just shout, and they got scared at first, like, hey, and now it's like, Dad, you're raising your voice, and I don't like that, and I said, you're so you're I am so sorry, and when they raise their voice, I get to tell them the same, and like we even though they're very small, they're still super young, we hold each other accountable on that subject, and we have reduced the amount of explosive shouting, let's say, in the house.
So your 6-year-old is your like external conscience, your voice that will say, Dad, you're raising your voice and I don't like it.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's a very humbling moment, and it brings you a little bit of guilt, to be honest, because you don't want they are the ones that the persons that you love the most, and you don't want to hurt them. So I do explain that it's not not because of them, but because of my faults that I did, and I don't want for them to learn about this.
And was that in your own upbringing with your dad? Was that a common to be yelled at like that?
Yeah, more on my mom's side, yeah, but
And your mom.
yeah,
And your mom.
and I know that on her side from her dad, so I do know where it come from.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So here you are fathering in a way that you were parented. And then you get the feedback that like, I don't like it. And I know for me, like, I know that feeling like when I didn't like it either. And like to find yourself in the position of the one delivering that thing that you didn't like that's a real, I think it's a real unique experience of parenting that you just really don't get in any other part of your life. So like that feeling, like what's that like for you?
First of all, it's like the most important customer feedback that you can get, right? It's that review, getting a 1-star review from that client. You don't want it. So it opens the door for more deeper conversations, and being more humble, and being more vulnerable to your kids. So yeah, I know that particularly Sebastian knows that his dad is not very perfect and that he's human and that we are learning to do this as we go.
Yeah.
So I try to be as transparent as possible with them. And yeah,
Well, it sounds also like that by being transparent like that and taking responsibility for your outbursts, it's like you're developing their emotional intelligence at a really early age. For a child to be able to have a feeling, and instead of like having a feeling and then having a breakdown about the feeling, that Sebastian's having a feeling and then converting it into language, is it makes me feel this way, I don't like it, and then giving you feedback. That's incredible emotional intelligence for any adult, for an adult. But for a 6-year-old, that seems extraordinary.
now that you mention it, yes, I mean that has been like a. Um, I would never say that was intentional. That has been just like something natural from um, you know having mistakes and then trying to fix the mistakes or doing the best that you can on those. Um, I do think that they are very independent, very emotional, intelligent human beings, and I think that even though they will have some um, things to work on, but those two tools can be essential for their success in life. Success being just happy, being uh, emotional, stable individuals.
And I would say, Diego, that's clearly has to be a direct result of the emotional intelligence development that you've worked on and that you've worked out so that you could show up in that way. And a lot of the ways they say that like kids are mirrors. They just mirror us back to ourselves. So like in what other ways have they been mirrors for you? Have they like, taught you things about yourself?
The presence that a toddler has in everything that they do, it reminds me. Yeah, it's like there's no urgency or no control like on the time. Like, hey, they don't need to go anywhere. They can be just present without thinking about next steps. And us as parents are like, okay, what am I gonna do next? Okay, then I need to take them to a park, and then like, and my kids will have the time of their life by just jumping in and out of the pool 350 times on a Tuesday afternoon, right?
Again,
And like
again. Yeah.
again, yeah. And yeah, they are full of energy, and I like that that they are full of. I'm grateful that they have so much energy. They have great hearts. I can see how they are socially, like with friends. They're always sharing, and they're always these great kids. But yeah, I think presence with whatever they do
So the
reminds me
mirror
of.
back to you is that you're often not present. Is that what you're saying?
Or that I want to be more present, perhaps. Like try to emulate what they're doing, like what they can do. No. Also, that this period of time goes fast. I know it seems a little bit cliche, but I I do have it very like every difficult moment or every moment where I'm perhaps a little bit more tired, I will remember that this is happening so fast and it's moving so fast. So I try to cherish even
Yeah.
the days where you might be a little bit more tired.
Well, especially at this age, they are changing very quickly. They're growing in leaps and bounds. So I think you and I have talked about this, but my theory is that it goes by really quickly when you're not paying attention, when you're not present. Because it is very true that you're like, when did he start doing that? Like you just go, I don't even remember when that started, but clearly like look at what he's doing right now. So yeah, have you found that the more present you are, the less you feel like it's going really fast?
Yeah. Also, what's one of the gifts of being divorced and having, you don't have another choice. At least for 2 weeks, a month,
Yeah.
it's you with them, and um, yeah, and I will dedicate those 2 weeks fully to spending time with them, playing with them, going out, learning how to ride a bike, and yeah, I usually don't have regrets in my life, and I would not allow myself for this to be like something that I would regret in 20
Hmm.
years. That's something that I know that I don't want
Yeah.
to have that, make that mistake.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when my kids were really little, we didn't really have any support. So, man, if I could get, I mean, I'm talking about really little, but I mean, time really moved in very, very small increments of time. Like a minute felt like a very long time. And especially when I needed a break. And when I could get like literally 5 minutes of just not having to be responsible for a kid, it was just like water to a thirsty person. And so I always wondered about the living situation you're in, where you have a very long break in between when you're being a dad. So what's that break like, and how does it impact the way you parent?
It's funny because I don't have any support on the time that I have the kids, and coming from Latin America where support is, you know you have all your family members. Everybody wants, like, everybody tries to help, but also you can hire a nanny for a fraction of what costs an hour here. So um, you, this is something that can be a little bit, let's say, more hands-on in the US, but I think it's a gift. If you really spend your time on it, it's a gift. Again, by being having the kids 50% of the time, I allow myself to get some rest on the weeks that they don't spend time with me. Monday to Friday, I will, I have my routine where I will wake up, I will meditate, I will go to the gym, I will spend time on work, I will try to go to the ocean every now and then. But even though they are not like officially with me, I will go and see them and spend time with them either on the weekends or during the week, because I enjoy spending time with my kids. I enjoy having see them play soccer or play whatever sports they play. So I've seen that in I sometimes just need those 5 minutes, like if I have that hour for myself or 2 hours for myself, I that's all that I need.
Yeah. And I'm imagining after a week when you haven't seen them, you get to sort of reset all of your systems, and then you just like, wow, I can't wait to see them again. And so that like, I noticed that like when I would travel for work and I come home, like the way we would interact was so different than if I were just there all week long. And sort of there's something about that separation that creates, what's that like when you guys come back together?
It's a lot of excitement from like seeing your kids running to give you a hug. It's like the best feeling in the world, no?
Yeah.
And I remember when my dad went, on his business trips and he came back. I did that with him as well, and I think that's like the best 3 seconds of any week for anyone. I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. What was your relationship with your dad like growing up?
I I think that I have we had a good relationship with him. He was, yeah, like on the weekends we he was very present. We did everything together. He played soccer every Saturday, so he took my older brother and I to his games, and yeah, we saw him. Um, he was a great, like a great father figure, and always he spoiled us with a lot of nice moments as a family. On even when I was like from like 15, 16, I like spending a lot of time with her.
So, in becoming a dad, what ways do you aspire to be like him, and then in what ways do you hope to not be like him?
I aspire to give my kids the type of life that my dad gave us. The nice, the trips. I think the trips can make families tighter, and they can help. I remember playing like board games, playing like it's on the business perspective, it's like an offset, like it makes the team, it makes the culture, it make like you create memories that make you stronger together. So I aspire to give them that, to share that with them. I aspire to be not only a present father, but someone that they can trust. If they, it doesn't matter if they made a mistake. I want for them to be. I want for myself to be their first call. I got kicked off so many times from school, and I remember that was like, oh man, I'm gonna get so grounded. So I want for them to know that they can give me a call, and I'm not gonna like on that front. I would prefer for them to consider myself as a friend or as a trusted relationship than someone that's gonna punish them or gonna shout or something like that. On that front, I think I'm very relaxed, and I understand.
So if you're not going to get upset or punish them, like what is your focus? So if the goal is to build trust with your kids, how are you showing up in a way, especially kids of your age right now? Like what have you found is a good way to build trust with them?
I ask them a lot of questions. I
Hmm.
don't judge them from the answer. I don't try to control the answers. If they're, sometimes kids just say whatever, some they're mad. I will not judge them. I I am already like, particularly Sebastian. Uh, I tend to share with him that he should question everything, from even from what teachers say
Yeah.
and what he learns in school.
And from dad.
Um, and from that, yeah, I do tell him like I don't own the truth, and I, as you can see, I also make mistakes. So question everything, and at the end of the day, you need to do what you feel it's right from your heart, and that's how I, to go back to your question. That's how I want to be different from my upbringing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. It's really good, Diego. The trust is everything. I mean, you can really be a real human and have, your strengths and your flaws, and your kids will accept all of it. But if they don't trust you, they're like how you're saying that, it really does feel like that is a huge gift a dad could give their kid is to like, a male figure, role model in your life, is someone who is trustworthy. Like that has to impact how they see themselves and how they want to grow up. Can you think of any moments just in maybe it's easier for you because they're younger, but like what's a moment that you feel really proud of? Like almost like surprised yourself and how well you showed up for your kids.
I feel that when my kids are around me, I they get more. They're more secure. They're more sure about themselves. They doubt themselves less, and they will immediately smile. And like and that's something that like that's I can die just by it's all that I really want. Like they yeah they will know that that is there and that everything is okay and that I got their back and I think that that is what the feeling that I want them to have for the rest of their life.
Mhm. Yeah, that they know that you're there for them.
That they know that I'm there for them and that whatever they're doing, they'll have my
Mm.
support.
What about moments that you regret or that you're ashamed of?
Yeah, I think of mainly the ones that I shared, on the reactiveness of certain situations where I immediately regret it and um, I am not shy and I'm not afraid of saying I'm sorry and I'm saying that I'm not perfect.
Yeah, I think we as parents we can overvalue big things, whereas I think it's really the little things that we do that seem to make a big difference. There's an Italian author called Umberto Eco who said, "What we become as men is based on what our fathers taught us when they weren't trying to teach us anything." And so, if you just think about your parenting, like what are the little things? Like, what do you think you're teaching your kids when you're not trying to teach them anything?
I think they see, the discipline that I try to have in my life. I think they've seen how I treat their mom and the relationship that I have with Catalina and the respect that I have for her and for her family and for when you go to a restaurant and you say thank you to your server like some small details like that. I think they will. I don't know if they see them now, but that's some of the things that I know that they will see. That just treating people, everybody with respect, being grateful. And this is sometimes I do try to spend some time on that, but I also live a very let's say spiritual life, so they will see some candles that are lit in my house, and they know that those are that stuff, and they won't play with their footballs around it. They will respect it. Won't try to turn it off like by blowing it. They just know that that's the things that keeps that sanity, perhaps.
When you mentioned about the joy that you experience, at the birth of your children, I also remember at this age that just my kids were so funny. Like not trying to be funny, not like telling a joke, just like I was just laughing all the time. And I was just thinking about the joy of their birth versus like the joy that you feel now. And like, does that joy that you feel like that the first time, like you said, like it's like you had never felt joy before. It was like that level of it. Do you feel like that continues and does it deepen or change? What's that been like?
It depends. There's another moment. Sorry, I remember it was a couple of years ago, but Nicolas was taking his nap, and Sebastian was playing around, and I was just like, by my desk, writing some stuff, and I start hearing Sebastian laugh uncontrollably. And you're like, I didn't stand up and he went ahead. And I just like closed my eyes and heard his laugh. Like he laughed like for 3 minutes, and it was an amazing moment. That was like such an amazing moment. I have two kids that are considered class clowns, and I am proud of that. I was one of them, and I think that they're just like happy, happy kids that they like to make a fool of themselves. They don't take everything so seriously, and that's for me that's perfect. I don't compare them to other kids, but I like for them to be that this authentic and this funny to be around with and.
Yeah.
Right now, it's the fart joke, stage, which can be limited on
You
the.
say it like it's ever going to end, but with boys, that's it. That's the funniest thing for the rest of their lives, right?
Yeah, I don't know if yeah, I am very pro fart stage fun, but
I mean, the
they
fart,
enjoy
the
it.
pee pee, the
Well,
poo poo, like man,
exactly,
that's comedy gold. Yeah,
comedy gold. But I mean, if they laugh, good for
they
them.
do. One of the other theories that I've been playing around with is this: as parents, like what's the ability we have to actually influence and impact our kids? And then what do we do with it? So if there's a debate between nature and nurture, right? So nature, they are who they are. This is how they came into the world. This is who they're going to become. Like it's already inside of them. It's in their DNA or the epigenetics, whatever it might be. Versus nurture, versus like the ability we have to be able to impact them, change them, shift their mind, or forge them, or form them a particular way. What would you guess is, now that your kids have been around long enough, your like how much is nature and how much is nurture?
Like from a controlling parent, I would say nurture. But from my experience, when you do the inner work, you see that most of it is nature. So I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix. What I can say that I would like to nurture them with, like with good values, you know, good values, good habits, that healthy habits. That's something that I would like to nurture them with. Flexibility on the thought, being open minded, being but also decisive. So you need to share your results of your theory with me. And nature's so strong on us, and I think when we get growing older and when we're doing the inner work and we see the importance of nature, and not to oppress that side and not to want it to control it, is essential for our development, for our mission in the world. No, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to control that. I want to like guide it, help them, help help them. Yeah, be more self empowered, but not control it. But I think
Mm-hmm.
the values that we can share can.
What are some of the other hopes you have for your kids as they grow into young adults, into adults? What are the hopes you have for them?
I don't know if when your kids were young, you thought about the future that much. I haven't spent too much time on the future, to be honest. Um, of course, I would love for them to be happy, but I also want for them to discover the world, to go, to travel, to explore, to that sense of adventure that I think is so important, and that the world is an amazing place and such a huge place, and sometimes we stay in the same six blocks for so long, and I think that's limited. And I don't. I have one hope is for them to raise like break their limits, uh, society, cultural limits, like for them to discover themselves. That's like my main hope.
Have you ever thought about, we were talking about earlier about just how generational trauma gets passed down, and you had talked about this sort of outburst or rage or uncontrollable anger or whatever it is, reactionary, right? What are some other things that you just believe have been part of your lineage that you as a dad get to break and not pass on to your kids?
Well, the alcohol part, I think that's that one.
Right.
At least on my side, um, I've done a lot of work around like anxiety. That I think that I've been working on regulating myself better and grounding myself more. That I share with them uh, when we living here in Miami. We are so immersed with nature. So like if we're in a park or we're on the beach, it's like just feel the sand on your feet, and
Yeah.
so this um, yeah, anxiety at all, this burst also. My relationship with food is something that I'm working on and working with, and my relationship with work, with money, is something that I think it's going to be very different from the previous generations, or the new ones. Um, Relationship with romantic partners, with women, I think that's also going to be something that's going to hopefully dramatically change. Um, yeah, I mean,
Those are good. Well, it's a
I
huge
mean,
gift. It's a huge gift to be able to work on all of those things because unconsciously you probably will just pass them all on. So that you've become aware of them, that you're consciously working on shifting them and breaking that. I truly believe, Diego, that breaking generational trauma is the greatest legacy we can leave to the planet.
I believe so too, Tony. I think it's the only way to move forward and into a
Yeah.
better place, and the way to do it, it's with our own kids.
So fast forward 40 years. I'm interviewing I'm interviewing your kids and I'm asking them about their dad. What do you hope that that they would say about you?
That I really hope that they always knew that that their dad loved them no matter what, and that I was always there for them. But I had, I had my flaws like we all do, but that I was there for them since day one, and yeah, um, they're the best gift and the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I repeat it to them often. I assure it to them, and yeah, um, and I will do it until the end of my life. Repeat to them that how much I love them and how much I cherish having them in my life.
Those are some really fucking lucky kids, Diego.
I hope so. I
Wow,
hope so.
wow, you made me all teary. That's beautiful. All right, last question, and then I appreciate you so much, and so thank you for this. So knowing that what you and I are looking to do is speak into the lives of brand new fathers who are just starting this journey, what advice would you give to a brand new father?
We and particularly as men, we need to start working on ourselves as early as possible.
What does that
So
mean?
there's all these. It might start with therapy. It might start with coaching. It start with meditation practice, but anything that can help you be more aware about your how you are built on the shadow and the light side. I think. I mean, my brother had his first kid 4 months ago, and that's the advice that I gave to him. Like, don't wait until your kid is 15, angry at you, doesn't want to forget a weekend, but have lunch with you. Like, don't wait until to go to therapy. Do it before, and at least that's what I think that helped me and kickstart the process.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Diego.
My pleasure, Tony.
You're the
Thank you
best.
for having me.
You
You
bet.
too.
Love you, brother. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Dad Manual Podcast. If you liked it, please leave us a rating or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really liked it, please share it with a dad you love. I'm looking to grow a community of fathers who are ready to change the world, and I need your help to do that. And if you got questions or topics you want me to explore, email them to me at thedadmanual@gmail.com. I would love to answer your questions on our next episode. Until next time, I'm Tony Cooper, and this is the Dad Manual Podcast.